You started. All right. Good morning. My favorite thing about Saturday accountability is that we start the week. So every single week, I get to say, welcome to a new week. Welcome to day one of week one of March. As we all know, March is a very exciting month. I don't know about where you guys live, but the weather is starting to turn here in Michigan. We'll still have another frost, we'll still have another snow, but it was 55 degrees yesterday. So I am not mad about that after weeks and months of sub-zero temperatures. Um, and we have Ignite for those of you. I think probably everybody who shows up here is somewhere in a lineage that has access to the Ignite conference coming up in the middle of the month here, which I'm so excited. Who am I going to see at Ignite? Drop a one in the chat if you're going to Ignite. Who do I get to hug? Yay! I'm hugging Carolina. I'm hugging Bill. I'm hugging Janine. All right. Hugs loading. Also, if hugs aren't your thing, that's cool. We can like fist bump or we can do whatever. Yep, sure did. I remember so distinctly chatting with you, Carolina. It was one of the moments, one of the things I'm like, oh yeah, her. I see her. Um so I'm very excited. My parents are snowbirds. They are in Florida all month. They left yesterday. They are my main form of childcare, so March is always a fun month for me. But we decided, my daughter and I are, when we get back from Ignite, we're going to Florida for a week. So I only have to go 2 weeks without childcare, which is fantastic. All right, you guys, I'm super excited. Today is going to be a little preview. Drop a two in the chat if you are regularly on the Monday through Friday accountability call. My guess is if you are here, you are probably there unless you're already at work. Um, so I can't say I was invited because I invited myself. I invited myself onto the accountability call. And so they put me in, and I have been working on my slides and kind of the all the good juicy stuff that I want to dive into for my next opportunity to speak on the accountability call. Last time I was on there was before all of the merges. So I think there was maybe 100 and some people. So now it's up to 500 people, which is exciting. So you guys are going to get a little preview, but I'm really going to kind of just dive into some of the meat because as I was working on getting all my thoughts together, I really, you guys, for those of you who don't know me, haven't been here in Saturday accountability, maybe you're watching a replay, maybe this is your first time. I really focus on not only kind of like pulling the layers back and shedding some light on how our brains work and oftentimes are working against us. But I really want to take the intangible and make it tangible for you guys. So things like we heard it on accountability this week. Your belief system, right? Your belief system is more important than your activity. Change your mindset, step into a new version of yourself. All of that is amazing. And I love all of that. But there was a time in my life when I would walk away from those really inspiring talks or books or podcasts and be like, okay, love that idea, but like, how do I actually do that? How do we actually change our mindset? How do we even begin to identify what our beliefs are? Because we're being told, right, that the majority of what's running the show from our brain's perspective is unconscious to us. We don't actually know the belief system. We don't have access to it. So like we can say all we want that like I believe that I am worthy of a $20,000 month, but that doesn't actually mean that we believe it, just to say it or want to believe it. So my goal, one of my many goals, especially in this space, is to try to make that more tangible. So I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna share with you guys some resources. And just some like really nitty gritty, like get into the business of like, how do we do this? Because we don't need to hear just do more, just increase your activity. Because if your mindset's not in the right spot, if your energy's not in the right spot, and we just do more of what we're doing, we're going to get more of the same result. And that doesn't always work, right? I think of it in terms of masculine and feminine energy, and we need both of them. We have both of them. But there's more to just doing more, grinding. I had a really beautiful moment yesterday where I texted Christina Watts, and I earned a retreat this past month to spend a weekend with Christina and Andrew and a couple other leaders who won this incentive retreat, and shared my goals, shared, where I'm going and how I'm doing things. And um, I shared with her yesterday after hitting my goals for February. And I just said, I didn't grind. I didn't push. I think I did the other way. I said I didn't push. I didn't grind. I aligned. That's how I got this done. I had my biggest month to date, both in profitability, APV, all the things. And I only worked 10 days out of the month. So I'm on to something, and I just want to I'm not a gatekeeper. I want to share all of the resources with everybody who wants them, is willing to expand, get uncomfortable, and maybe consider something that they haven't considered before. So I guess I don't need to share this anymore. I'm going to share, let me make sure I'm on the right screen here. Probably don't even really need the slides, but I was working on the slides, so I was like, let's just do this. I'm not going to worry about like presentation mode because I think that can get funky, and I'll have to figure that out before. I don't know, maybe I will. Let's see what happens if I present. Okay, can you guys see that? How to change your mind? Okay, cool. So, oh, it says my screen sharing is paused, but you guys can see that? Okay, weird. Very simply, you guys, if you want to change your belief system, so this is kind of a piggyback to one of the calls that Jim did this week, where he was talking about the importance of belief. And he really honed in on environment and how important your environment is, right? So if you want to be a six-figure earner, but you are surrounding yourself with people who make 30, 40, $50,000 a year, you naturally aren't going to elevate, right? That belief isn't going to be instilled in you that that's possible because you're not seeing evidence of it, right? So there's so much more. And this is what started the conversation with Jim of where I want to dive in on my big call, if you will. But very simplistically, you cannot change your beliefs if you don't know what the existing beliefs are that are holding you back, and if you're not super clear on what beliefs you want to step into. So when we talk about this new version of yourself, cool, that's cute, but like who actually is that? Like, what are you shedding? What are you stepping away from? What are you disassociating from, right? Disconnecting from, and what are you stepping into? I love the timing of this too, because if you're in this space, Tuesday is a really significant full moon. It is a lunar eclipse in Virgo. And we're in eclipse season, which is a really powerful space if you are into astrology and energy. And so full moons are a really good time to get really clear on what you're letting go of, on what you are no longer identifying with. And then new moons are a really good time to really set the intentions and step into what's new. But these two things are imperative. So identifying your current beliefs and getting clear on your new beliefs. So some ways you can do this, right? Reading. We know we hear this all the time, right? Expanding your mind, but reading books that are specific to neuropsychology, mindset, Joe Dispenza. I have a specific recommendation from his, but really any book by Joe Dispenza. He does a really great job and has a lot of practical tools with like meditations and things of how you can identify your current beliefs and step into a new, from an actual like neuroscience way of reprogramming and rewiring your brain and how your brain is activating. Mindset by Carol Dweck. I feel like we've been hearing more about this one more recently. This is like an oldie but goodie. Worthy by Jamie Lima, Kern Lima. That one, I actually haven't finished that one, but just starting to read that one has been helping me kind of clarify and have some ahas and kind of put some dots together. Therapy is a really incredible way, depending on the type of therapy you're in. I put a little asterisk there. I was raised by a psychotherapist. I worked in a therapy clinic for a while. I'm pretty particular about the type of therapy that we are working with, and I also recognize that different types of therapy work for different types of people. So the types of therapy that have not worked for me or that have worked for me may or may not work or not work for you. And this is where I always say therapy is like dating. You don't just like see your first therapist and marry, you don't go on to a first date and marry the person, right? You got to find the right therapist. You got to find the right modality. You got to find the right way. It's really common right now. Everybody's kind of in the CBT world, but there is a lot of other types of therapy. And I have a lot of feel I could do a whole talk on how I feel about how therapy has kind of evolved and changed and what's happening in the world of therapy right now, but that's not for this call. Meditation, huge, quieting the mind so that you can actually hear, right? So when you're getting curious about what the beliefs are and not just what the current beliefs are, but getting curious about what beliefs you want to step into, quiet learning how and practicing how to quiet the mind and to create some space so that you can actually hear your intuition. You can hear kind of the quiet subtleties of your brain that are giving you some clues. Meditation is really, really key for that. Similarly, hypnosis is a little bit more active where it's the hypnosis is actually more in control, where meditation, you are a little bit more in control. And then obviously journaling, and not just journaling to journal, but like journaling with an intention of this is the pattern that keeps coming up for me. And why is this happening? Why do I do this? And why do I do that? And why does that come up for me? And why is that? Why do I get triggered by that? And why and why and why and why? And we start to kind of uncover some things. I have some prompts as well that I can share. I didn't think about when I was doing this, but I'm gonna leave a little note for myself, some journal prompts. I have a list that I can share if you want to do some active journaling in terms of how to support this process of changing your belief set. Um, and then a couple specific resources, and then we'll wrap up because it's amazing how quickly 15 minutes flies by. Okay, my favorite hypnosis app is called Grace. By a woman named Grace, and her app is called Grace. And there are some specific tracks. She has everything categorized really well, but you can also kind of create your own. And she does, I forget what it's called, double something. She has these hypnosis tracks that you can just have on where they like don't even make sense. Like if you listen to them, they don't even make sense to your brain, but the idea is that you have them on while you're like doing the laundry or going for a walk, not while you are driving. That just start to like confuse the brain while also instilling some new beliefs, which I really love. And what's the next one? We've got human design coaching. Y'all have heard me talk about human design. This is a shameless little plug just for what I offer. I mix up my leadership coaching experience with my human design. I can't I will never be an expert in human design, but my interest and obsession with human design, and I offer coaching packages that we start with getting clear on what your human design chart is. Because I really think that when we talk about changing our belief system and stepping into the truest version of ourselves, alignment is so key. And if there is one tool to get yourself into alignment, it is your human design. So what I'm gonna do, I don't have like all like links and stuff all together just yet, but if you are interested in human design coaching, drop a 3 in the chat and I can send you some more information or we can talk about that. And then this is one of my favorites. There's a masterclass and an activation by Reagan Hillier. This is actually an MRR product that I worked with a lot at one point because I had some pretty significant results when I first started doing this. But it's a 10K per month masterclass and an activation. The activation, it's like meditation, but more active. And it's you can listen to it every single day. You can listen to it multiple times a day, and it really just invites you into this version of yourself that attracts and manifests and creates $10,000 months. So drop a 10 in the chat if you that will just be for my brain. If you want some information about that, drop a 10 in the chat. 77 Manifest. This is a program I created many, many years ago after I did my first round of 75 Hard. I wanted something like 75 Hard, but for my more spiritual practices. And so I created 77 Manifest, which is basically 75 Hard, but make it spiritual. So it's 77 days, and there are 7 things that you do every day for 77 days to create some grit and some routine and some habits around your spiritual practices. Now, this, if you, whether you are religious, whether you are spiritual, wherever you kind of fall, it can be catered and kind of tweaked to whatever your belief system is and whatever feels like spirituality to you. For some people it's tarot cards, and for some people it's reading the Bible, and for some people it's meditating. For some people it's being in nature is when they feel most connected to source. So 77 Manifests, you can drop a 7 in the chat. I can get you information about that. And then my favorite book about changing your mind. Joe Dispenza has a book called How to Change Your Mind. But my favorite is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That one was actually, it was the first one I read of Joe Dispenza's. So that one was the most significant, but all of his other ones are fantastic as well. You have to wait, honey. I'm almost done. I think that's all I have on there. Okay. So little late. Sorry about that, friends. And Reagan's, I need all the info. Awesome, Janine. Amazing, amazing. Okay. Next week, it is not next week. Did I say next week? It's the following week. It's the Friday before we go to conference. So Friday the 13th. Easy to remember. I'll be on Friday the 13th, which is so perfect. I'm so here for it. And obviously Fridays are the day that they also do the prayer room, and it will be the day before Saturday accountability, which will be fun. So mark your calendars. I'll be on accountability for future AO Friday on Friday the 13th. Yay, thank you guys. Yeah, I'm excited. I just texted Jim. I'm like, Jim, I have things I need to say. Like, please give me the microphone. All right. If you guys have questions, or if you want me to send you any of these resources and you didn't put it in the chat, but you want to just let me know personally, that is cool. I'm going to save this chat so I can go back and send y'all. If we are not connected on GroupMe, do that. Let me get you the link. If you are not in our Saturday accountability squad GroupMe, this is really just for like a place to share resources. I know Maura's got a sick kiddo at home, and she's got a lot going on. So I had a feeling that she wasn't going to be here. But we do miss her when she's gone. And we missed you, Carolina, when you were gone. Also, welcome home, Carolina. Like, what an adventure. Holy moly. Sorry, I just totally got I just ADD squirreled you guys. So the GroupMe, it's for resources, it's for announcements. It's not necessarily a place for like hefty conversation, but it is a good place where we can connect, or if you want to connect with somebody else who shows up regularly. This is still a really small crowd. So tell your friends. So many of you come back every single week and love starting your week. And I hear from you every single week about how impactful this call has been for you. So please share, tell your friends about it. I don't want anybody, if they're choosing not to be here, that's fine, and they know about it. But if they don't know about it or haven't heard from a trusted source that it's worth your time, then tell your friends. And hopefully too, we'll see some more folks come in after I get the main stage, if you will, of accountability on the 13th. So I love you all. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy day one. I know it's still February, but happy March. Happy day one of week one. Can't wait to see so many of you guys at Ignite, but I will see you guys a couple of times before then here in this space. I'm going to rock and roll. I'm solo with my daughter, and she's sitting on the toilet waiting for me. So I'm going to go take care of that, and I will see you guys so soon.